Yo, what is going on guys? It's Ant and welcome back to the channel. So, in today's video, we're going to be doing a Pokemon HeartGold, Shiny only, Hardcore Nuzlocke. I've been wanting to do this one for quite a while, and we're finally getting around to doing it. The rules that we'll be following for this are the standard ones, they'll flash up on the screen for just a moment. And also guys, before we jump into things, I just want to say that we are trying to hit 5,000 subscribers. It was the goal for the end of the year, but honestly with the way the support on the channel has been lately, I really think it could possibly be this month, which is insane. But yeah, if you're new here to the channel and you find yourself enjoying the content, make sure you smash that subscribe button because honestly, overall I would love for you to stick around. And yeah, with everything said now, let's go get into things. Basically what I was doing here was I was just soft resetting every time I've checked the starters because I wanted to see if I could get a shiny. I didn't even intend to do a shiny only playthrough either here. This was just by off chance. I just wanted to see if I could find it because I've always had that this shiny hunt is very easy considering the fact that you're doing basically 3 Pokemon at once. So I was quite curious and after a while of looking around we ended up finding this. Yo! That's the one? Holy shit. It's been about 20 minutes and we've already found it. I can't fucking believe it, man. Look, you don't understand. Triangle 70 here is an absolute channel legend. Oh my god, Triangle 70 is back. It's got a modest nature too, that's fucked. So after doing everything that we needed to do, we're now going to go get into our first rival battle of a run. And because I chose Cyndaquil as my starter, it means the rival's also going to get Totodile, but that's nothing to worry about in this fight because it doesn't have access to any water type moves just yet. And really all this fight is just a tackle spam till we get through it. It took either 3 or 4 tackles, and by the time we executed all those, Totodile's gone down and we've defeated our rival. After this we go all the way up to Violet City and go to get in the first gym fight with Falkner. And we go check our Cyndaquil as well, who is 1 EXP away from going up above level cap. So that was insane. We almost actually lost our starter for this fight. I didn't want to go find another shiny Pokemon either with these insane odds. So luckily that happened. Now this probably wasn't the smartest of ideas as well, going into Falkner with just 1 Pokemon, but honestly I thought I was going to be safe. We go for 1 Ember and put the Pidgey onto very low life. We take a tackle afterwards which doesn't do too much damage, and then we go take this down with a second Ember. After this then, Falconer sends out his final Pokemon, which is a Pidgeotto, and here I'm going to try and go for an Ember spam. I also want to get a burn as well, but unfortunately we don't seem to get that. We take a tackle and does quite a lot of damage as well, so I am risking myself with a 1 in 16 here because if they crit us, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. But without a crit, we're definitely safe. So we're just going to continue to spam Ember, and by the point here we put the Pidgeotto down into just enough life so it's not going to be healed, and we are quicker as well so we can go for a final Ember too, take down the Pidgeotto and win the fight. And with that done, we've got our first gym badge of a run. Because we grew to level 14 in that fight as well, our Cyndaquil is now going to be able to go and evolve into a Quilava. And with this we go get moving into the second gym of the run against Gym Leader Bugsy. Gym Leader Bugsy is a bug type trainer, and because we're going to be using our fire type starter throughout this whole fight, we're not really going to have any issue. All we have to do is get past the Cypher and that's fine. So I go for an Ember here on the Cypher. We knock it down to just above half life, as it's also hit us with a Leer, so we're at -1 defense. It's going to hit us with a quick attack. It does quite a bit of damage and we get a lucky crit there to take down the Cypher. And now that the Cypher's down and we've pretty much done it with 0 issue, we can take down the rest of their Pokemon as well. So we go for an Ember here on the Metapod that he sends out after, and this is a 1-shot. And then next he's going to send out a Kakuna, which again we're going to go for 1 more Ember, and that's also going to be another 1-shot to take this down. And with that done, we defeated Bugsy for the second gym badge of a run. Now I knew here that there was absolutely 0 chance I was going to get through the rival fight anyway. But not only was I fearing that, I also thought to myself, if whatever miracle happens, I managed to get through, I definitely wouldn't be able to do it without going over level caps. So right now I'm absolutely forced to find another Pokemon. So I go back into Route 32 and I start looking around. Also, there's no voice reaction for this one because while I was playing, I was watching TV because I weren't really expecting to find anything. I'm just running up and down looking for one of a few specific Pokemon that I wanted. Every couple of moments, I'd look back to the screen, run from the fight, and then run around looking for another encounter. And after quite a good amount of hours of looking around, we ended up getting ourselves a shiny Mareep, which was one of a couple of Pokemon that I actually really wanted from this area. So thankfully we ended up getting something that we could actually use. I have to stop for a moment and just go give it a good look at in disbelief, before then going and throwing a Great Ball, capturing this up and giving it the nickname of Sean. Now before I'm going to go get into my rival fight, I'm also going to do a bit of training on my Mareep as well, get it to level 15, and at level 15, that'll evolve our Mareep over into a Fluffy. With the addition of Fluffy into our team, I'm going to go get into my next rival fight of a run against Silver. And I'm also going to lead this new Fluffy as well, because Quilava is now getting into a situation where it probably can't get any more EXP, because if it does, it's probably going to grow into a position where I can't bring it into the Whitney fight. So good old Fluffy was going to have to try and solo this mostly. I'll go for 2 Thunder Shocks here on the Ghastly, and that'll be enough to take this down, as he sends out his next Pokemon, which is Croconaw. Croconaw here takes 1 Thunder Shock and gets put down just below half-life. It gives me a scary face, which isn't going to do much except lower my speed, and it hits me with a bite here as well, which thankfully didn't flinch. After that we go for another Thunder Shock and we take down the Croconaw. With Croconaw down, we're now down to Silver's last Pokemon. He's going to send out his Zubat. It goes for a Supersonic, which misses, and this is just a 1-shot to Thunder Shock, so we're going to go take this down, and with that done, that's Silver defeated. Both my Pokemon are level 19, and they're both extremely close to leveling up to level 20 as well, and I definitely need both of them for the fight with Whitney. I also need another Pokemon to clear out the trainers inside their gym as well, because I'm struggling. So what I decided is I'm going to go play this little game in Goldenrod City, earn myself a bunch of coins, and I'm going to go for another multi-hunt for an Abra. Now I said earlier that multi-hunts I felt were quick. I've done 2 multi-hunts lately, where I feel I get multiple attempts every reset at getting a shiny. I did Dratini in a video a while back, and I also done Cyndaquil for this video, and they both come extremely fast. So it's very annoying, because this actually took me almost about 6,000 encounters, but after a while we do end up finding this. Now I can't lie to you guys, I weren't all too happy about the impish nature honestly, but after 6,000 encounters, you know what, I'm happy to take whatever I can get. I train it up because it's only moving Teleport currently, and I train against a Pokemon that I know isn't going to do enough EXP to over level me as well. And with this done, our Abra then can go and evolve into a Kadabra. Now that's not all we're going to do, because I'm also going to make a little trade here back and forth, send my Kadabra away then back over, and this way it's going to go and evolve into an Alakazam. And with Alakazam we can go take down all the trainers in Whitney's gym and then go get into the Whitney fight. Whitney here is going to lead off with her Clefable, and I'm going to send out my new Alakazam. So on the first turn we go hit the Clefairy with a Confusion and knock it down just below half-life. It's going to do a Mimic on this turn, so that's actually quite a free turn for us. Set up a Reflect on the next one, because I know after this turn I'm going to be taking this down, and I want Reflect up for as many turns as I can up against the Miltank. All 3 of my Pokemon in this team currently are males, and I know that Whitney's Miltank loves to spam Attract. So it definitely could become something very difficult for me, but I'm prepared. We take down the Clefairy, and now we're up against her infamous Miltank. As she sends this in, I immediately start by giving it a Flash, and this way we can lower its accuracy by 1 stage. Stomp does hit, but because we're under Reflect, we're not going to take too much damage. I know I'm risking a crit here, but I kind of accepted the fact that I'm possibly going to lose a Pokemon in this fight. With Alakazam though doing 2 flashes and also being hit by the Attract, I decided I'm going to make a switch, because I know my Reflect also wears out this turn as well. So the idea here is I'm now going to go into my Mareep and I'm going to try to paralyze the Miltank. And on the first turn while I'm in, Miltank does miss out a track, so I can set up a Thunder Wave. And immediately its Lumberry cures it, which means I'm going to have to try it again. I take a Stomp afterwards, set up the second Thunder Wave, and now we've got a -2 accuracy, paralysed Miltank. So I'm definitely a lot more confident with the fight now. I make another switch over into Alakazam just to see if I can set up another Reflect. I don't want no issues with my plan here, because I'm scared of a Miltank using Rollout. But basically the plan now that we got another Reflect up is I'm going to switch back over into my Quilava. I'm going to go for a Fire Blast and knock this down into just below half-life. It gets paralysed from our Thunder Wave. Now I plan to take this down with another Fire Blast, which we end up missing. But again, we're all fine. I'm not worried no more. We set up another Fire Blast after, and this is going to knock it down again, somewhat below half-life. They missed Stomp due to being -2, and because I'm faster due to the paralysis and everything else, I'm going to go for another Fire Blast here. We're going to hit the Miltank this time, and that'll be enough to take this down and win the fight, so we can earn our 3rd gym badge of a run. So now we're going to go get into our next rival fight with Silver in Ecruteak City. He's got 4 Pokemon this time, but again this is going to be more than fine. He's going to start off with Ghastly. I've now got Alakazam for our rival fights as well, and with one use of Confusion we can take down his first Pokemon. Next up then he's going to send out Zubat, another Pokemon that I am faster than and also super effective against as well, so I'm going to go hit this with another Confusion, and this is also going to go down to a one-shot. The next Pokemon sent in after is Croconaw, and I'm going to set up a Reflect to begin with because I was kind of worried that it might not bite. I knew that Confusion was never going to one-shot, but now that that's all set up I've got really nothing to worry about. We get hit by Scary Face twice, and then we get hit by it again on the next turn. But this is fine because we're going to go hit this Confusion now, and we're going to go take down the Croconaw. The final Pokemon he's going to send in now as well is a Magnemite. And we've also just learnt ourselves Psybeam as well, which is going to be very good. He's going to start off by hitting us with a Thunder Wave, which will put us under paralysis. But because of our ability synchronized, that means Magnemite's also going to go back under paralysis as well. We then hit the Psybeam, put it into very low life. We're then hit by a Supersonic from the Magnemite. I'm confused, I'm under paralysis. But after everything, I'm still able to pull off the next Psybeam, take down the Magnemite, and win the fight. And with the rival defeated, I'm then going to go head into the next gym leader as well, Morty, the ghost type trainer. And all of Morty's Pokemon now are ghost poison types. So I'm very happy to go lead my Alakazam here, who is going to be faster than all 4 Morty's Pokemon. I'm going to start off with a Psybeam on the Ghastly, take this down. And then we move on to his next Pokemon, which is a Haunter. Again, no, the ghost poison typing will mean that Psybeam is super effective, and will mean that I'm going to take this down with a one-shot. Nextly, he sends out his highest level Pokemon, Gengar, but again, because I'm faster and I'm going for his super effective attack, I hit this with a Psybeam, once again another one-shot, and his final Pokemon, another Haunter, is definitely not going to survive another Psybeam, so we go for this, take it down, and that's Morty defeated for the 4th gym badge of a run. Now before we can do anything, really, we've got to go speak to the 6th gym leader, Jasmine, at the top of a lighthouse. And before we can actually go do anything with her, we head across the water, pick up a secret potion, and during all of this as well, Fluffy is going to evolve into an Ampharos. And with Fluffy now as an Ampharos, we're going to head into the 5th gym of a run, which is against Chuck. Chuck's a fighting type trainer and he only comes with 2 Pokemon as well. So he's not too much to worry about, especially considering we've got an Alakazam who's super effective. So I'm going to lead with him, of course. I'm also going to set up a Reflect on the first turn as well, just because I feel like I'm not going to one-shot the Poliwrath. We also miss a Primeape as well with our first Psybeam there, so this could have made it pretty dangerous not taking us down straight away. But I wasn't all too concerned considering I'm under a Reflect right now, got that level of protection, and after a couple more tries we do end up hitting the Primeape with a Psybeam and taking this down. And now we're up against Chuck's final Pokemon, the Poliwrath, so we're going to hit this with another Psybeam, knock it all the way down into one shot. It's going to get a bit of healing from its held item. It's going to go for a Hypnosis that misses as well. And then on the next turn, we're going to go finish this off with another Psybeam. And that's Poliwrath gone down, which means we defeated Chuck for the 5th gym badge of a run. With that all finalised, I go back to the lighthouse, we heal the sick Ampharos, and now with this done we can go get into the fight with Jasmine as well, the 6th gym leader of the run. She's a steel type trainer and we're going to go lead with Aquilava. So what I knew with this fight was I was just going to have to try and get past this first Magnemite without getting paralysed, which will mean definitely hitting this Fire Blast first turn. We do pull this off though and we take down the Magnemite, and then nextly she's now going to send out her Steelix. Now Steelix don't come with any super effective moves that are very strong against us, so I'm not too worried about that. It also doesn't come with Sturdy as well, so I'm going to hit this with a Fire Blast, take it down with a one-shot, and now we're down to our final Pokemon, which is a second Magnemite. Magnemite, just like the first one, we're going to go hit this with another Fire Blast, take this down, and with that done, that's Jasmine defeated for the 6th gym badge. So after this, we go all the way to Mahogany Town, then head all the way up to the Lake of Rage, where we're going to get a guaranteed shiny Gyarados. It's a shiny Pokemon, it's definitely going to be able to come into my team. I hit with a Paralysis, I do a bit of chip damage, and then we go capture this up. After catching this up, we head into where Team Rocket's hiding in Mahogany Town, and we're just going to take down Petrel's Pokemon. Can't do nothing too much to us, so we pretty much take them down for the use of 4 Psybeams. After this then, we're going to go get into a fight with Ariana from Team Rocket as well, and it's a double battle with me and Lance, and Ariana and a Grunt. Now again, this fight's nothing to worry about, you know, Lance's Dragonite is 15 levels higher than him. And because of this as well, I've got no concerns with going for a Surf and doing a bit of damage to Dragonite in the process. And Dragonite takes down the Arbok with a Thunder. Drowsy survives the Surf, and then they're going to send in a Murkrow after. So again, I'm going to go for another Surf so I can hit 2 Pokemon at once. Dragonite avoids it due to using Fly, and we take down the Drowsy while putting Murkrow into Half-Life. Another Grimer after, gets hit by Flights, taken down. And I'm going back in with another Surf to take down the Murkrow. And now we're down to the last Pokemon, which is Gloom. So Gloom again, Dragonite's going for Fly. I hit this with a Strength and knock it to just above Half-Life. Dragonite actually also misses Fly here as well. But luckily, it's got less than 40 HP. We go for a Dragon Rage. And it takes it down and wins us the fight. And now it's time for the 7th gym leader of the run, Price, the Ice-type trainer. He's going to start off with Seal, and due to knowing this, I'm going to start off with my Ampharos. With Ampharos, we go for a Discharge, and we take down a Seal with a one-shot. And after doing this, he's going to send out his second Pokemon, which is Piloswine. And this is a ground type, so I am going to have to go make a switch. And because it's going for a ground type move here, I went and made a switch over into my Gyarados, who's part flying type, which means no ground type attacks will affect us. After getting the free switch, I'm going to on the first turn go for a Dragon Rage so I can try to see how much HP it's actually got. I'm hit with a Blizzard then as well, which does quite a lot of damage, which is worrying. I then return a Surf on the next turn on the Piloswine, and to get some healing from its berry. And then it goes for a Hail. So what I can see here is that if Surf doesn't kill right now, then I could possibly be dead to Blizzard. So I make a switch here, knowing that a Blizzard is coming over into my Quilava. I take the Blizzard, and it doesn't do too much damage due to being a Fire type. And from here, I know I can stay in a turn and go for a Fire Blast. Fire Blast, we managed to pull it off, and this will do enough damage to take down the Piloswine. And now we're down to Price's last Pokemon. So Price sends out his last Pokemon, Dugong. I make a hard switch over into my Ampharos, and then I take an Aurora Beam. Don't do too much damage. I go for a Discharge, knock it down into very low life as we're hit by a second Aurora Beam. Bryce's Hyper Potion. We'll put the Dugong back to full life as we knock it back down into Half-Life with a Thunder Punch. And then on the next turn, we're going to go finish this off with another Discharge and win the fight. So back in Goldenrod, we're going to get back into some more fights with Team Rocket. And our first fight's with Petrel, who's got 6 Pokemon. Now all of these are poison types, so I'm just going to spam Psybeam and take them all down with one-shots. We do this until all 6 Pokemon have gone down and we win the fight. After doing this, we head underground and we go get into another rival fight with Silver. Silver's going to start off by sending out a Golbat, and I'll start off here with my Alakazam, who is faster. And I'm going to go for a Psybeam, take this down with a one-shot, which will allow us to move on to his next Pokemon. The next Pokemon he sends out is Haunter, and again this is another one-shot to Psybeam, so we go take this down too. Next up though, he sends out a Sneasel. Now this is a Dark type, so I'm getting a tiny bit worried about this. What I'm going to do on the first turn is, I'm going to set up a Reflect, just in case it's going for a Pursuit. And it goes for an Icy Wind as well. It doesn't do much damage, but it lowers our speed. I'm going to switch because I've got no attacks that can actually affect the Sneasel. And with the switch that I make, we managed to get over into our Ampharos, take 2 feint attacks before hitting this with a Discharge, and then with another Discharge on the turn after as well, and taking this down. Silver then also sends out his Feraligatr, and I know this is a one-shot to Discharge, so I'll go for this and take it down. And now we're down up against his last Pokemon. So he sends out the last Pokemon, which is Magnemite. We both hit each other with a Thunder Wave on the first turn. And from here I go for 2 uses of Discharge, and I'm able to take this down and win the fight. With Silver defeated, I continue looking around underground before getting the card key, which can get me back into the radio tower and into a fight with Ariana. She leads with her Arbok, it gives us an Intimidate attack drop, and we also give it back an Intimidate attack drop. On the first turn as well, it's going to hit us with a Glare, which is going to put us under Paralysis. And our Dragon Rage is going to keep it above Half-Life as well. So what I decided here is that I'm going to switch. I make a switch over into my Ampharos, take a Crunch, and I can take down the rest of its HP from here with a Discharge. Ariana after sends out a Murkrow. It hits us with a Nightshade, won't do too much, and we're going to take this down with a Discharge too. So this goes down, and now we're down up against our last Pokemon, Vileplume. So to start off with Vileplume, I'm going to go for a Thunder Wave and put it under paralysis. It goes for a Sleep Powder and misses. I hit with a Discharge, and then on the next turn it hits Sleep Powder. So now I'm going to make a switch over into my Quilava, take an Acid, and then on the next turn hit this with a Fire Blast, take it down, and defeat Ariana's Vileplume to win the fight. We've got one last rocket battle to go through, and this is against Archer at the top of the radio tower. He starts off with the Houndour. I'm going to go send out my Gyarados, and we take this down with a one-shot from Surf. Out next comes his Houndoom, which is faster than us as well. So it's going to go for Bite. It's going to do actually a massive amount of damage as well for what it is. But we can hit this with a Surf after and put it just below midlife. Now I've got to be careful here because crits do double damage. So I am in a 1 in 16 to die hit. Very worrying. And I thought about not chancing it at first. But then I decided on staying in. We take a Feint Attack. And then we're going to knock this onto very low life with the second Surf. It survived with a damage roll, but now I'm worried that my Gyarados is going to go down, so I make a hard switch back over into my Quilava. We take a Fire Fang, which does quite a lot of damage for not being very effective, but because I can go for a quick attack, I can take this down without taking any more extra damage. So the Houndoom goes down, and now we're up against Archer's last Pokemon, which is Coughing. So with a quick hard switch over into Alakazam, we can take a Sludge that won't do much damage, and then we can go finish this off with a Psybeam and win the fight. Next up then, as we go all the way to Blackthorn City, Quilava's going to go and evolve into a Typhlosion, and then with this done we're going to go ahead into the gym fight as well. So this is the 8th gym of the run. Gym leader Claire, the dragon type trainer. We're going to head into the battle with her, and we're going to start off against her Gyarados by using our Ampharos because we know we can take this down with a one shot. So on the first turn, although we take 40 damage from a Dragon Rage, it's fine because I'm going to go hit this back with a Discharge and take it down. After taking down the Gyarados, she sends in her next Pokemon, which is Dragonair, and I'm going to start off by hitting this with a Thunder Wave so I can put it under paralysis. It's also going to hit me back with another Thunder Wave as well, which puts me under paralysis, but that's nothing to be too concerned about. Next up, we hit this with a Discharge, which doesn't do much damage, but because of that paralysis, we get a free turn, and we're going to go for another Discharge on the next turn. And I'm going to now make a hard switch over into my Alakazam. Once again, a third paralysis in a row really makes that very nice for us. And then its Shed Skin cures its paralysis. So I'm going to go for a Psychic and take this down. After this, she sends out Kingdra, and from here, I know I'm in a very good position to win. Despite going for smoke screens, I'm going to continue to bulk up with Calm Mind, and I'm going to put myself to +2 where I'm at a point where I know Kingdra's going to get one-shotted, so we go for a Psychic, and we will be able to get past our accuracy drops and hit this Kingdra with the Psychic as well and take this down. And now we're up against her last Pokemon, which is a second Dragonair, and because we're at +2 from our Calm Minds, we're going to go for another Psychic here, take down the Dragonair with a one-shot, and defeat Claire for the 8th gym badge of a run. I've got a couple little fights here that I'm going to have to do as well before I can go get into Victory Road, and this is against a Camino goal. So the first fight here is going to be Alakazam and Umbreon. I know I'm at a very bad type advantage here, so I'll go make a switch to begin with. This switches over into Ampharos. We have quite a bit of back and forth for a couple turns before I go make a switch then over into my Gyarados. Gyarados then takes a last resort and it goes and finishes it off with Dragon Rage. The second fight then is going to have an Espeon versus Alakazam, and I look to switch at first and then I decide against it. I'm going to stay in here, go for a Psychic on the first turn. A huge crit puts it into very low life, meaning we can just take it down with another hit on the next turn and defeat the second Camino Girl. The next one we fight has a Flareon evolution, and due to this Pokemon's crazy physical attack stat, I'm going to go make a switch over into Gyarados and hit this with 2 Surfs so we can go take this down and get into the next Pokemon. So the next one after this is Camino Girl Sayo, and she comes with a Jolteon. Alakazam comes in once again, and I worry here just in case this Pokemon possibly has Pin Missile. Make the switch over into Typhlosion, and we take a Thunder Wave, putting us under paralysis. I'm able to hit this with a Lava Plume after it goes for a double team though, and can take this down with a crit and win the fight. Now we're up against the last Camino Girl, and she's got a Vaporeon. We send out our Alakazam, and I can't mind to begin with. So I'm going to take the Surf, and then on the next turn, I'm going to recover myself back up to full HP. And with this, we take another Surf. I give myself another Calm Mind as we take another Surf from the Vaporeon. And from here then, on the next turn, I'm going to go for a Psychic on the Vaporeon, and we're going to go take this down. So Our rival Silver here starts off with a Sneasel. We're going to start off with our Ampharos and a Discharge here. After taking a feint attack, we'll put the Sneasel into red life and put it under paralysis as well, which means now we're going to be faster. I'm going to hit this with a Signal Beam and take it down. With the Sneasel down, we move on to their second Pokemon, which is Feraligatr. And due to being faster, I'm going to go hit this with a Discharge, take it down with a one-shot. And that will allow us to move into his third Pokemon now, which is Golbat. Golbat does hit us with a Confuse Ray, and Confuse Ray does get the best of us on the first turn. We get hit by a Bite, and we get also done by Confuse Ray once again. We're also hit by another Bite, and we flinch. So now I'm in a position where I'm going to need to switch. And I make a switch here over into my Gyarados. An Intimidate attack drop's going to help quite a bit as well, because this is going for a physical move with Bite. And I hit this with a Waterfall, which will put it down into one shot. Then hit with another Waterfall after and take it down. So then he sends in his Magneton, which is definitely going for an electric type attack that I want to avoid. So I go make a switch here over into my Typhlosion. And he goes for a Thunder Wave out of all possible moves. I'm not sure why it would go for that there. Tries a Supersonic after, which misses. And I get done by my Paralysis on this turn. After this we take a Spark. And we manage to pull off our Lava Plume as well. And take down the Magneton. And then we're up against our rival's Haunter. It's going to send this out and go for a Curse, which is going to put itself down into half-life, go for a Flamethrower, take this down, and now we're up against Silver's last Pokemon, Kadabra. Due to being under a Curse and Paralysis, I decide I'm going to go make myself a switch, and I made this switch over into my Gyarados. Due to Kadabra going for a Disable there, we basically got a free switch. Next turn it sets up Reflectors, we go for Waterfall, and this prevents us from getting a one-shot. Now I believe it's going to go for Disable once again, so my play here is to go for a Surf. We managed to make the Disable do pretty much nothing as we're going for a Surface turn, take down the Kadabra and defeat Silver for the last time. Every other trainer's now out of the way, we just got the Elite Four before us now, so what we got to do is some final preparations before we go get into the battles. I go buy myself a couple full heals, some potions. I also go pick myself up the TM for Substitute as well. Teach that to my Gyarados. Pick up myself a Heart Scout so I can get another move relearned as well. And start deleting these HMs that I'll never use. So I delete my 2 HMs, teach Substitute, pick up Ice Fang, and I'm also going to pick up another Reflect as well because I'm removing Reflect for the first couple of battles for Shadow Ball. And then with all this preparation done, we go ahead into the Elite Four. Against Elite Four Will, the first trainer. Elite Four Will is a Psychic type trainer, and I'm going to start off with my Alakazam up against his Xatu. I'm going to Calm Mind, but then I get hit by a Confuse Ray, which isn't too great. I hurt myself on Confusion on the next turn, and I'm also hit by a Psychic by the Xatu as well. I know I can stay in for quite a while, so I'm not too concerned here. And on the next turn we snap out the Confusion, put ourselves to +2 with another Calm Mind. Take another Psychic, and from here I'm going to take down this Xatu before it puts me under another Confuse Ray. So I go for the Shadow Ball, take down the Xatu with a one-shot, and then we move into his next Pokemon. Will sends out a second Xatu, so we go for a second Shadow Ball, and we're going to take this down with a one-shot as well. The rest of the fight is going to be a nice easy sweep for us. Executor comes out after, another +2 Shadow Ball, be enough to take this down with a one-shot, moving us into his fourth Pokemon, which is a Jinx. Go for our fourth Shadow Ball of the fight, and we take down our fourth Pokemon. And now we're just up against his Slowbro as well, so this is going to take one more Shadow Ball, take this down with another one-shot, and we defeat Will, which will allow us to move into the second room against Koga. So against Koga here, I'm going to begin off with my Gyarados, and on the first turn I'm going to go set myself up with a Substitute. Our sub here is going to stop us getting hit by Ariados's Spider Web, and from here I'm going to start bulking up with some Dragon Dances, so I can set myself up for another sweep. Koga decides he wants to continue to try and use Spider Web, but that's just going to make it easier for us. I put Gyarados all the way up to +2, and then I go for a Waterfall on the Ariados and take this down. From here then Koga sends out Fortress, one Waterfall here against this very high defense Pokemon isn't going to do enough to take this down. It's going to go for Toxic Spikes as well, but we don't plan on making any switches, so that's fine. And I have the feeling that he's going to heal here as well, so what I do for this turn, continue to spam Waterfall now and finish off the rest of his Pokemon. So Fortress goes back down into one shot, and then it tries to protect itself to stop itself going down. I use this opportunity to put myself to +3 with a Dragon Dance, and then I go take this down with the next Waterfall. Muck comes in after, another waterfall. We take this down with a one shot. Then he sends out Crobat as well. Now I want to save a couple waterfalls because I don't have too many ethers on me for all my Pokemon. So I'm going to go for an Ice Fang here and take down a Crobat with this instead. And then for the Venomoth as well, I'm also going to hit this with another Ice Fang as well and take this down to defeat Koga and move on into the next room afterwards against Bruno. Now what I want to do against Bruno for a bit of protection is, because I'm never going to use Shadow Ball again, delete this for Reflect and then get into the fight. So we're leading once again with our Alakazam, and I'm going to set up Reflect on the first turn just in case this wants to go for a physical move. But the entire time it's spamming counter, so again I'm going to use this opportunity to my advantage, go for a Calm Mind and put myself to +1. It's continuing to spam counter, so I do it once again, +2. Then I go for a Psychic and take this down. Next up then, they're going to send out Onyx, another Psychic from here will take this down as well. Machamp, another one shot to Psychic. I'm then going to take down the Hitmonlee as well with another Psychic and Hitmonchan too, which means all 5 of his Pokemon were taken down. And it moves us on into the 4th room now against Karen, the Dark-type trainer. I'm leading back once again with my Gyarados as well, while giving the Umbreon an Intimidate attack drop. To begin things as well, I'm going to set myself up with a Substitute, and Umbreon's going to start spamming Double Team. Now with this, I Dragon Dance, it double teams, I Dragon Dance, it double teams. And I get to the point where I'm like, okay, well, you know what? I am going to have to try and hit this now before he gets its evasiveness too high. And I do go for the Waterfall there and manage to hit it first try as well. But +2 wasn't enough to take this down. It does survive on quite low HP and it hits me with a Feint Attack. Never be enough to break the sub though. And due to the fact that I know they're going to heal here, I'm going to set myself up with a 3rd Dragon Dance to put myself to +3. Waterfall then misses. I'm going to have to continue trying to spam this as it's starting to go for more double teams again. On the next turn we managed to hit that waterfall and somehow this manages to survive again. I really weren't expecting that. So now it's probably at something like +4 or +5 on double team. And although I'm not concerned, it's getting to the point where I know I need to hit this as soon as possible. I go for another waterfall on the next turn and we do manage to hit this and take it down, which was perfect. So that's our Umbreon down. And now at +3 with Gyarados, we can just take down the rest of our Pokemon as well. So I'm going to go for another Waterfall here and take down the Houndoom. Take down the Murkrow with an Ice Fang afterwards too. Vileplume also gets another Ice Fang and goes down. And now we're up against Gengar, who's going to take a Waterfall. This goes down to another one shot and that's Karen defeated. Moving us on into the last battle of the run against Champion Lance. Now if you're wondering why I'm going to be leading Alakazam here against Champion Lance to begin with, it's because the plan here is to immediately go set up a Reflect as I then go make a switch over into my Ampharos. What I'm going to do against the Gyarados now, hard switch over into my Ampharos. I'm actually going to take a massive critical hit as well from Aqua Tail. But due to the ability static, Ampharos has pretty much done its Thunder Wave job now anyway. So now I'm going to go make a switch over into my own Gyarados, give it an Intimidate attack drop and put myself under a Substitute after. Due to the Intimidate attack drop, Lance's Gyarados is now spamming Dragon Pulse. And I'm starting to spam Dragon Dance so I can bump myself up. And every 2 times it hits me with Dragon Pulse, my sub is going to break. So it means I can put myself up by 1 stage every time I set up the sub. So once the sub breaks, put myself under another sub, hit by another Dragon Pulse, I Dragon Dance, and this time it's actually going to be affected by its paralysis as well. And from here, I know that I'm at enough, and I'm going to have to start trying to take down this Gyarados as well. So I go hit this with an Ice Fang, which drops it just below half-life, and it's going to break my sub this time as well. Now what I know is, because it's broke my sub, is that I'm going to go set myself up under another one, take a Flail, and then I'm going to hit this with a second Ice Fang and take it down. And with this Gyarados now out of the way and myself bulked up to +3, we can now allow the sweeping to commence. So Champion Lance then sends out an Aerodactyl. I'm going to go hit this with a Waterfall, and this is going to go down to a one shot. Next up then, Champion Lance is going to send out a Dragonite, and this is why we've got Ice Fang at the ready as well, because this was our plan all along. We're going to go hit the Dragonite with an Ice Fang and take this down with a one shot. The second Dragonite also suffers the same fate, another one shot to Ice Fang. And now we're up against Lance's 3rd Dragonite, which again, another Ice Fang, double super effective. We're at +3. This is going down to a one shot, and this will put us up against Lance's final Pokemon, which is his Charizard. Now for Charizard, we're going to go hit this with a +3 Waterfall. Take this also down with a one shot. and defeat Lance to finish a challenge and defeat the run. Guys, I really hope you've all enjoyed this video. It actually didn't take all that long to make as well, due to the fact that I only went for 4 shinies in this run, and due to the fact that I had some incredible luck as well. I really wanted to make this video and go for another Gen 2 game, because lately I've been rewatching one of my most favourite series I've uploaded on this channel, which was the Foreign Lock. Basically, a hardcore Nuzlocke on a Japanese Pokemon game where I don't understand a single word. It was a lot of fun, but I unlisted most of the videos due to, although completing the challenge and recording everything, not uploading every single episode. I think one day in the future I will upload all the remaining episodes. I'm not sure when or if I'll do it as a YouTube short, but yeah. That's why I wanted to make this video, and somehow it just ended up being a shiny only instead of just a regular Nuzlocke, thanks to the Cyndaquil at the start. But honestly guys, I really hope you've all enjoyed, and if you have, be sure to leave some love on the comments and ratings. It really means a lot seeing everybody enjoying the content after all the work I put into them. If you are new to the channel as well and would like to see more content like this, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. We're insanely close to 5,000 now. And also honestly, I would just love it if you'd love to stick around as well. But anyway guys, it's been Ant, and I will see you all in another video very soon. Peace out guys.